And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 12. I'm TJ,
And I'm Kent.
and you are joining us on the Sling'N led podcast. As I said, this is episode 12 entitled Run Your Gun, Not Your Mouth. There's going to be no guest this week. It's just Kent and I. You get to enjoy us all to yourselves. Look forward to any participation in the chat. But we wanted to talk to you guys about something special and very close to Kent and myself, and that is, of course, training. If you've been following the podcast for any length of time, you know that that's one of the primary things we talk about. So we decided to go ahead and put together our top 10 lists of drills that we like to do at the range. So, Kent, what's new with you, man, while we get into this topic?
Hashtag run your gun, not your mouth. I feel like it's my hashtag, but I also feel like it might be Ash Hess's hashtag. I'm not sure. But it's getting bandied about the internet. And yeah, man. I mean, we're just trying to encourage y'all to honestly just to get out there and to stop making expensive noise at the range and start making progress. So TJ and I had a very long phone call and the Wizards United, and we came up with our top 10 handgun centric drills that you guys can probably do with maybe some modification for range rules and indoor range stuff or wherever. But if you're somewhere where you could shoot a pistol, chances are you could probably do most of this stuff. So that was a big component for us because we know not all y'all can just go wherever and do whatever. So that's important. But this is stuff that, quite honestly, your range trip should have a purpose, right? Like you shouldn't. There's nothing wrong with going to the range for fun. I'm not saying that, but if you're going with your 9mm handgun and calling it training or practice, then I would always ask, what are you practicing or what are you training? What skill are you working on? What are you developing? What are you accomplishing? And that's usually the part in the conversation where the most people that haven't thought about this kind of stall and they go, yeah, I was like shooting at targets and shit. Like, well, of course you're shooting at targets, but what skill development are you doing? So this is kind of our shortcut for y'all. Some of this, TJ made fun of my analogy, the buy the cow, get the milk for free thing that I put up on Instagram. But like a lot of this is stuff that I do in classes, right? So if you guys are wondering what we're doing in class, newsflash, there's no secret squirrel ninja sauce to it. Like most of it's already available if you go research yourself. So we're going to give away a little bit tonight, and we might even give some stuff away if y'all can do the drills. So stay tuned for that part of the show.
Yeah, absolutely, Kent. So, Kent and I go back and forth on this quite a bit, and every now and then he has to check me because I'm kind of in this existential crisis, if you will, with my own training. You know, we all see, and many of us follow a lot of the Instagram influencers that are running drills or doing stuff on the range very, very quickly with a shot timer, putting down some blazing speeds. And I always ask myself the question, and oftentimes ask Kent the question, where do we transition from being worried all about speed to accuracy? You know, where's the balance in there? You know, and that is kind of the big question that a lot of people ask is, okay, if I can draw my gun and shoot in under a second, what good is that doing me if I can't hit the target that I'm wanting to hit? Or more specifically, where on the target you're wanting to hit. So we kind of bounce back and forth. And Kent, you actually, and you keep giving me this advice all the time, and it's starting to finally sink in. But I'd like to have you explain it. What is the purpose of going fast?
So to steal from John Murphy, who probably stole from somebody else, you have to be fast enough to matter, right? Like there's two competing elements here, one being speed and one being accuracy. And I get guys and gals that I see on both ends of the spectrum where you get my man is burning down a 2-inch screw at 10 yards on the draw, and he takes 4.25 seconds to do it. Dude, you're dead. Like all these guys that are talking competition and kilt in the streets, if you're taking 4.25 seconds to get your gun into the workspace, it's over. I hate to tell you that. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're 0.89 on the draw to make noise and you're Delta Charlie territory on the target, probably not so great either. The purpose of going fast in training is to do two things. Number one is to give you a benchmark to test against yourself. Not the dudes on the internet, not me, not TJ, not Jedi, not Lucas, not whoever. Not that I just put me, TJ, then Jedi, then Lucas. I'm not ranking or putting us in that area. I'm just saying, whoever you're looking at, don't judge yourself against them. Judge yourself against who you were last week. If you're going to the range every Monday, be a better you this Monday than you were last Monday. And that's the first purpose. The second purpose going fast, and the one that TJ is leading to, is to find out where the wheels come off. Because truth be told, if I can methodically, slowly, awesomely, robotically draw my concealed gun and get it up and get that perfect setup and everything's wonderful, that's cool, but where is the hitch in your giddy up? Where are you losing time? Where are you losing speed? Are you dropping your grip somewhere? Are you catching your thumb on your shirt, on your draw? Are you having to reacquire your grip when you get to center mass and then press out? Are you modulating too early? Are you modulating too late? And you won't know that until you work speed into your program. And then eventually it just becomes a matter of deciding. I've got a student right now. We're in a perfect situation to discuss this. This guy's build drill, and again, a build 6 rounds, center mass, 7 yards on the beat, right? This guy's build drill, when he got to me, was in the 6-second range. But 1 round a second off the draw. The other night, he hit a 221. Okay. Working with me, we got him from 6 seconds to a 221. And because we've been working on speed and because we've been isolating skill development where we're working on one piece of the draw at a time and one piece of the shot process at a time, I was able to show him on video and literally explain to him, hey, bud, if you want to get under 2 seconds, you need to stop doing this and start doing this. What he was doing was still modulating in his presentation as though he was shooting from 20 yards or something. Like he really had to settle down to find that dot. And at 7 yards, you don't have to. You can press out to your point of aim and index the dot, and you're there. So he's taking about 0.2 to find and settle his dot that he doesn't need to take. And I said, and he looked at me and he said, I'm not sure if I care about 0.2 seconds. I feel pretty good about where those rounds are going. And I said, you are deciding what the training goals are here. If you're a happy customer, I'm a happy trainer. So if that's all you need to get out of that, then that's fine. If he's looking at his life from going from 6 seconds to 221, and he feels like John fucking Wick. He walked out of off the range 10 feet tall and bulletproof, and he went and bought a sports car. So, good on him. I'm not saying this to say that he should have got under 2 or not. But the point is you can make those incremental decisions and you can decide what you're willing to give up or not to get there. And eventually you don't have to give anything up if you put in the work. So, yeah, that's my spiel on why you have to go fast. It's about finding the edges and the limits.
Right. And there was also one point that you left out that you've berated me for. No, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there for everybody, because the question is, in a self-defense shooting, why do I need to go fast? Because when the bad guy is standing right there in front of you, you might not have – everything under duress is going to slow down is essentially the point, right? So the question is, if let's just go off of you're going to slow down, we're going to double your reaction time because you're reacting, not acting, right?
Yep.
So if you are able to draw and fire in, let's just say 4 seconds on the cold range, and then in a time of duress, because you're reacting, your reaction time is going to be 8 seconds.
Yep.
Right? So we train to that standard of getting faster and faster on a cold, flat range when we have the opportunity, because if we're going to double the reaction time, that time that you're spending getting that sub 2 second build drill could turn into a 4 second real life event, and that is way better than an 8-second or a 12-second response. So that's kind of
So
the idea.
awesome that you brought that up, and I'm sorry I forgot it. One thing that guys don't realize is that sound that you just heard takes 0.3 seconds. The beep is 0.3 seconds. Scott Chudlinski talks a lot about going on the B instead of the P, right? B-E-E-P, go on B to minimize reaction time. So one of the things we do on the range, I just did this last Thursday night with a group actually, is we have shooters come to full extension, get a sight picture, get a trigger, get everything all set up. And the goal is for me to give you a beep and for you to break the shot in less time than it takes for the beep to finish. So I want to see a 0.29 or better. And we have shooters that are 0.16, 0.15, 0.17, right? So if we explain to them, hey, your physical capability of reaction time is literally measured in tenths of a second when you're keyed up, let's work on this to minimize that reactionary gap that you're talking about for when you're not keyed up. And moments in your life will teach you those things. I mean, you hear something go slam in the middle of your house when you're like standing at your island. Not that this happened to me last night or anything. And you automatically spin and get your hand on your gun and you go, wow, that went quick. Like, yeah, okay, that went quick. That was smooth. But when you get a new shooter on the line and you tell the shooters, hey, dude, each one of your targets has a name. And I don't want you to shoot until you hear your target's name called. And I'm standing there going, Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. And the dude standing in front of C is like thinking about the Dolphins or something playing tonight. You know, that tells you what his reactionary gap is going to be. He's, oh, shit, that guy said Charlie, time to shoot that son of a bitch. And, you know, so you can see that play out. So all these drills and all these things we're going to talk about, what I would encourage you guys to do is to catalog your performance, to see an increase in speed and accuracy time over time. And as we talk about these drills, what I will try to do is I will attempt to show you, if you were in class with me, what incremental skills or what developmental concepts I would be looking for in your shooting that these drills are helping us diagnose. Because the drill isn't about the time and it isn't about the speed and it isn't about win or lose. It's about learning something through the drill. And I think we have a nice varied group of drills or exercises that we can bring up to guys and girls. So you've got the list because you're the one that's organized.
Well, I don't know about organized, but I certainly am in charge of all the beat booping. But with that, let's go over a couple of logistics first. Number one, let's talk about what folks are going to need for these drills. Obviously, a gun, right? Personally, I recommend 9mm. I'm not expecting people to go out and buy a new toy for just this training cycle. You should put yourself behind a quality gun to begin with. And Kent and I have posted numerous videos on our respective channels about that. Maybe we will revisit that in a future podcast episode. But a bare minimum, at least by my standards, is something that holds at least 10 rounds on board. So in the magazine or magazine plus one in the pipe in the gun. So 10 rounds total is what I look for in a personal defense weapon. That's my standard. Obviously, the kind of the unwritten rule is if it's not a Glock 19, it's not worth carrying. You guys be the judge on that, but 9mm at the very least and 10 rounds on board. Red dots, not necessary. They do speed things up, but again, minimal tools. Take what you got and learn from there. If anything, try it with whatever current defensive handgun you might have. If that's just a J-frame Smith & Wesson, or J-frame revolver, take it to the range and try to run these drills and realize the deficiencies of that platform in and of itself and get yourself a gun that can perform to your standards and maybe even give you something to grow into. So that's kind of some food for thought right there. Next thing you're going to need, I do recommend a shot timer. On average, they go for about $130. Typically, you can find them on sale here and there. There's a watch, of course. There are several apps. There's free apps in various app stores, so Google Play, Apple App Store, stuff like that. Those may or may not pick up the shots, depending. Your results may vary, but either way, if you're looking for something to just give yourself that start beep and have some metric, maybe even a par time that you can set, so you'll hear two beeps, a start beep and an end beep. That is something you can work with. It doesn't necessarily have to be one that picks up each and every shot. Third thing you're going to need, obviously, ammo. I think altogether I need to do the math on it, but we're looking at about 150 rounds, I want to say. For all these, I think that would be a safe assumption for all 10 of these drills. Yes, let's say 150 rounds to be conservative on it. I would say, hey, you could pick that up at your local big box store, but that might not be the case anymore. Support your local gun store, folks. All right, so ammo, shot timer, gun, targets. B8 drills work, or B8 targets are, I think, 100 pack for $12 on Amazon. I'm sure there's an affiliate link with Kent somewhere that you can pick those up.
Yeah. Yes.
I will say this. I have trained numerous times with just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of printer paper. Works great. You can get it by the ream, and you can draw on it all you want. And even some of the targets here that we're going to talk about, you can just print out from at home. So when in doubt, 8.5 by 11 paper should do just fine. Of course, a quality holster. Be very careful. Some of these drills, of course, you will be required, or it is recommended. The standard is at least drawing from the holster. If you're not comfortable drawing from the holster, spend some time with the dry fire in your basement or in your garage, someplace safe where you can get comfortable with it. Natural progression to that is, if you're not comfortable even trying to learn it yourself, get with a qualified instructor. And even then, get with a qualified instructor.
Yeah.
So that should about do it. We are going to post this spreadsheet on greenmountaindefense.com, so you guys can go download it shortly after the show. Give us a couple days. We want to make sure it's presentable and easier to read. We got to get these descriptions ironed out, but those will be available very shortly. But again, Green Mountain Defense, the link for that website is down in the description. And that about wraps it up. Naturally, if there's any questions on any of these drills, there's plenty of documentation on the internet about each one of them. Or you can easily message Kent or myself, or even email us at slingandleadpodcast@gmail.com and submit your questions there. We will be happy to answer it. Kent and I both monitor that inbox. So with that, Kent, the first drill, or I should say sets of drills, on our list is the Modern Samurai Project belt standards. Now, for the unindoctrinated, Kent and I had the pleasure of having Scott Jedlinski, Jedi, the Modern Samurai of the Modern Samurai Project, on the show. I'll post a link in the description for that if you guys want to go check that out. He is the Red Dot Master. This guy's a fantastic shooter, fantastic instructor. So we would be remiss if we did not include his drills in this list. So his black belt standards is comprised of 4 individual drills. And the first drill, and Ken, I'll turn this over to you after we spit out the topic here. So drill number 1 is called the 3 and 2 drill. From a distance of 3 yards, at the start, you will place 3 shots in the alpha zone of the target and immediately transition to 2 rounds into a 3x5 card posted on the head of the target. Oh, I left those out, 3x5 cards. Also something to add to the materials list. The par time is 2 seconds for black belt standards. Kent, you want to elaborate?
Yeah. So first, let me say, you could do the Gabe White Turbo Pin standards. You could do the Farnham standards. You could do the Rangemaster Instructor Qual. You could do. We're picking the Jedi ones just because they're relatively easy. Not in that they're easy to do or accomplish, but in that they're logistically easy for you to pull off. Right. All you need
simple by design.
Right. All you need is the bare minimums as far as like equipment to get these things done. So the 3-2 is obviously, you got to get that gun out real quick to get rounds in 2 different places on the same target in under 2 seconds. You got to ride that recoil up from the center of mass up to the head box. You can't overdrive the gun. And spoiler alert, you can't over-verify your dot if you do shoot a dot, or your sights if you're shooting sights at 3 yards and you're over-verifying your sights for a perfect sight picture. You're not going to be under 2 seconds. You're not going to be anywhere close to 2 seconds. Scott has different belt level, much like martial arts. I'm not a black belt in this one. I'm not a quote unquote black belt in any of his standards, but I've gotten closer. So my best average time on this one is a 2:41. And that's because I record my stuff. I'm not going to come out and say I've done it in 2:10, right? But I can't deliver that on an average right now. So 2:41 is where my average is sitting on this drill. Which is respectable, but it's not black belt, right? Recoil control is a big issue here. Obviously, you can't have your gun flopping and flipping all over the place. You got to make sure you marry that grip correctly, and you got to punch that gun out quick. And if you can't get all that done, you're going to be looking in the 4-second range. And the other secret to this is that it needs to be 5 consecutive shots. If you shoot it 3 and 2, you're going to be over your time. So if you go bang, 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 you're out. It literally needs to sound bang, 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 bang. You need to be able to transition the gun from comm alpha to the head box in the same time as your split takes.
Oh, and for the record, I think we're doing some of our listeners a disservice. Those that are unfamiliar with the scoring zones on an IPSC target or a USPSA target, the comm alpha or the A zone is center mass of the target. It's approximately 6 inches wide by 11 inches tall. Cut 1 inch off of either side of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you've got an alpha target.
Yeah, basically. So if you're transitioning from there to the head and your splits are 2.5 splits, that means it needs to take you 0.25 seconds to transition the gun from center mass up to the head. That's what I mean by that. It's a spicy, not to steal too much of Scott's lingo or vernacular, but it's pretty spicy. I mean, it's not a give me by any means, and it certainly shows you a lot about your recoil control. For the folks at home, do it with a full gun. Don't be trying to do if you're running a G34 that you normally have 19 rounds in, and you're used to that as your balance point, and then you just put 5 rounds in your mag, your gun's going to feel different in your hand. Yep. I'm giving away all the trade secrets here, but really I want to see you guys succeed. But break this down. So if you break that math down, you need 5 rounds, 2.5 splits. That's 1.25, which means you have 0.75 to get your gun out of its effing holster. If it takes you a second to get your gun out of its holster, now you need 0.18, 0.17 splits to get this done. If it takes you a second and you see where I'm going with this. So figure out.
It starts to add up very quickly.
Right. Figure out what your draw looks like. Get your draw time to something respectable and reasonable at 3 yards. If you can get your draw in the second and a quarter, then you better be able to hold on for dear life and get those splits the hell out of that gun like jailbait, 13, 14, 17 splits somewhere in there, and you're going to be close. If you've got a 1.75 draw, you ain't getting there. It just ain't going to happen.
So you're saying I should give up now?
No, man. What I'm saying is take these drills when you do them and break them down for their component parts, and don't just stand on range and shoot 3.2s all day and expect to get better.
Hey, it's because I'm using a Harper's Ferry, okay? I'm using a Harper's Ferry flintlock, so leave me alone. But okay, so with that, the rest of the drills are actually pretty simple from there. The second stage of the MSP belt standards is from 7 yards. This is called the one-shot drill. From 7 yards on the buzzer, draw and fire one round into the A zone or COM Alpha, and the par time is 1 second.
Yep.
So 7 yards into a 6-inch by 11-inch target in 1 second flat. That one's going to be tough, man. I'm telling you. I can get to a second sometimes. Just even times I can beat a second. But it's by the skin of my teeth. I think 0.98 is my fastest time ever. But we have to go off of what we're consistent with, right? So consistency is the name of the game here, folks. You should be training to be consistent in that. If you have a string of, let's just say you pick one of these drills and you work on that alone, and throughout 8 hours on the range, you're hitting 1.3, 1.5, or 2 seconds even, and you get that one time where you break a second and you hit the target, your average is not 1 second.
Right.
Your average is 1.3, 1.5, and consistently I'm about a 1.15, 1.2. With accuracy, I should say, being able to actually hit that A zone. So, you have to put the pedal to the metal on that one.
It occurs to me, in deference to our family-friendly fans, I'm sorry to have to say this, but it occurs to me that this is a lot like talking about penis length on the internet, right? It's like, yeah, I'm a 1 to 12-ish. Depending on where you start measuring, like, yeah.
No, hey, you speak for yourself, man. You're the one offering to give people the milk for free. I need to start policing your social media posts.
yeah. Somebody needs to put me on the Trump filter. Good Lord. Yeah.
No, we need better. We need to put you on the Pence filter.
Probably better yet.
Somebody poke that guy with a fork. Make sure he's still living. All right. So drill number 3 are, I think, a favorite across the industry. The Bill drill. 7 yards, 6 rounds from the draw. Par time is 2 seconds into an A zone. Now, Kent, obviously you're a fan of the Bill drill. You work a lot with your students on the Bill drill. Speaking of metrics, what's your time like on this one?
2:18 is my average here. This is an average. What's awesome about this is if you're in England, you can call this the William exercise. Just for those of you across the pond, this is the William exercise. There needs to be a laugh track on the podcast, but anywho, I had an English student.
I can't even do it, man. I'm sorry. I thought about doing it, but
boo.
I was gonna yuck it up in the background for you, but
I had a guy on a Thursday night the other night, literally. Hey, don't you mean the William exercise? That. So I thought that was funny. Anyway, Bill drill. Yeah. So
Jesus Christ.
the Bill.
All right.
Hold on. I can rein it back in. It'll be fine. The Bill drill is. Stop laughing at me, TJ.
This is why we need a guest on the show.
Right. Otherwise, it's just us talking on the phone. The Bill drill is difficult because it's about consistency. We're including the 1 second draw. So what this is a 1 second draw with like 18 splits, right? That's what this is. So I need the first bang in 1 second, and it's got to be in the alpha, or the down 0, or the B8, or whatever you want to use. And then we got to be able to follow it up with 5 more. We can't lose track of our gun. We can't have recoil anticipation. We can't start getting timing off with the centering of our dot and our sights. We need to learn to send the round before our sight picture is perfect, because if we wait till our sight picture is perfect, chances are we'll send rounds low because we're on that upward, downward track, right? You got the gun up, down, up, down. If you wait till the gun's perfectly centered right about here on my finger gun, chances are the round's actually going to detonate as I'm down here. So we got to watch out for that. You aren't getting this with a shitty grip. You aren't getting this with a slow draw. What you can get away with is murder on the trigger, though. This is one of those drills that teaches people. Everybody, you go to the NRA class and you get this like slow and smoothly to the rear and let the shot surprise you. And if you're shooting to save my family's life, like I don't want your shot surprising you. So you can get away with goddamn murder on the trigger on the bill drill. If you get a good support hand grip and you're staying on that thing, I mean, there's freaking Shrek McPhee's on the internet with a goddamn ratchet strap just beating the dickens out of his trigger, right? Like, so trigger mechanics is kind of unimportant here. It can certainly be done with good trigger mechanics, but if you're Mr. Pin and Pull, you're not getting there. If you're waiting on the reset every time, you're not getting there. You got to trust that trigger. You got to come the whole way off and the whole way back on. And, you got to run your gun like a sewing machine. You got to let that motherfucker sing. And unfortunately, the dude that can't accept accuracy deterioration, the guy that's like so used to shooting perfect little bullseyes all the time, he needs to learn to get that gun up. So like when I work on bill drill with dudes, no draw, no nothing. Sometimes not even a target, just a berm. Just, dude, give me the fastest splits you can be on your gun. And a guy will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Give me the fastest splits you can be on your gun. 1, 2, 3. Then I get my gun out and go, just retardedly fast splits. And he just looks at me and goes, you can't anything shooting like that. I'm like, okay, according to the timer, that was a 2-1 split. So let's shoot a bill drill. And I shoot a 2.50 or 2.37 or whatever. And I show him, I'm like, hey, dude, that was a 23 split and a 1.25 draw. So yes, I can shoot my gun at a 23 split and still hit something, as evidenced by what's right in front of me, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one for all those learning methods. And, it's a pretty practical exercise as far as, if you want to take this to quote unquote the streets and talk about defensive. I mean, hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Jedi's in class doing bill drills in 1.8 some seconds. Like he's 1.84, 1.89, whatever, consistently in classes. Out of his carry gear, out of a filster carry holster. Nothing special. He's using his carry gun. That dude can shoot you 6 times in the center of your chest in 1.8 seconds, and you can't get your gun out in 1.8 seconds. Like, so, talk all the gamer shit all you want to, but like, damn, dude.
Yeah, those are real results. And if anything, and I don't want this to intimidate anyone, the purpose of this is to break people out of their comfort zone and get out of the old FUD mentality of training that you typically find at a basic marksmanship class where we're all apparently Olympic bullseye shooters.
Yep.
That is not the case here. We are training to save lives. And that is why like Kent said, we don't want you to wait for the gun to surprise you for a perfect trigger press when my ass is on the line. So,
but we're also not talking 10-inch groups. I'm regularly shooting 2.25 second bill drills in 3-inch groups at 7 yards. And that's only because I have a flyer. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 rounds in this small of a hole and then one someplace else because I dick something up. But way within the A zone, certainly. So if you're,
it is possible to be fast and accurate. It's that simple.
Yeah, absolutely is. Just with the right amount of work. All right, what's next?
All right, so number 4, and this concludes the belt standards for the Modern Samurai Project. 1-shot drill again, but this time at 25 yards on the draw. 1 shot to the A zone in 1.5 seconds. Very similar to drill number 2, where we're just extending the distance and we're increasing the time a little bit. But I will tell you what, trying to make that shot in a second and a half at 25 yards, the pressure will rise. Let's just say you're thinking, oh, this is going to be easy, and then you look at that target from 25 yards and realize, oh crap, this is not as easy as I thought.
Yep.
So, all right. So,
yeah. On that, I'm a one. I'm either zero or hero on this. I'm either did not finish or I'm like under 1.5. But there are more than I would like to admit where they're outside of down zero or outside of calm alpha, C zone, down one, down three shots, right? So on this one, for me, it's not about the time. It's about actually getting the hit where I need it to be. And I find that if I was shooting, and this is just kind of a little aside, but I really hate, I shoot a lot of IDPA, and I really hate where the IDPA down zero is. Because what I can do with consistency is put the round somewhere in the thoracic triangle from 25 yards, but very often it's higher than the quote unquote down zero. I usually am down one and I'm high somewhere between the top of the circle and the bottom of the neck. That's usually where my quote unquote miss is, which is still a pretty effing good shot, but it's not down zero.
It's not the standard.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So the trick here is like modulating at speed on your draw. You can't just wing that gun out there, find your dot, and send it. You have to modulate a little bit at speed. So it's a tough one.
Yep. All right. So number 5 is one of my personal favorites, the Baer Solutions drill. This is one of those targets that you can download and print right from home. 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, turned landscape. The Baer Solutions drill. I'll put a link to their site in the description. But Baer Solutions, awesome dude. Drew Estel. I've had the privilege of shooting with Drew a couple of times. Fantastic instructor, fantastic marksman. Actually ran a competition with him once and was lucky enough to be squatted with him. And this guy, he's kind of a paradox. When you watch him, you don't think he's going fast.
Yeah.
But you compare him to all the other guys that you see, and I'm not talking about just on YouTube or Instagram, but like competitive shooters where they're blazing down the stage. It looks like they never break from a full sprint. And this guy is smooth and fast. And when you actually look at his times when he finishes a competition, you're just like, I can't believe you won that. You didn't look like you would win that. So either way, real simple drill. This can be conducted at 3, 5, or 7 yards. When you print the target out, there are 2 rectangles on either side of it. In the center, there's a 2-inch circle. Quite simply, you have 10 rounds loaded in the gun, a spare magazine with 3 rounds. On the start, from the draw, this can be done from a concealment holster or outside the waistband, or like a duty rig or whatever, anything like that. But on the draw, engage the 2 rectangles with 5 rounds each. You'll go to a slide lock, reload your spare 3-round magazine, and engage the center dot with those 3 rounds. The concept here is to teach a couple of different things, and I don't want to do Drew a disservice by misexplaining this, but generally speaking, this is meant to teach you a lot of the same aspects of a bill drill, being fast on the gun, being able to hit a relatively larger target zone with rapid shots, up more than just 1, 2, or 3, but 5, then transitioning slightly to one direction, either the right or the left, whichever one you start with, then throttling down after the reload and putting 3 well-placed shots into the 2-inch circle. So fantastic drill. I'm a big fan of it. I have yet to successfully pass this drill. The standards are 9 seconds total, and any shot that is within the given target or on the line, breaks the line, counts. I'm either too slow by a second or a half a second, or if I run it under the time, I end up shanking one and I come just below with that center dot, or I'll throw one of the first 10 rounds off the paper, or not within the designated rectangle. So it's quite challenging, but it's a lot of fun. And again, that can be done at 3, 5, or 7 yards. And if you're feeling froggy, you can even do that drill with a rifle as well. So once again, BearSolutionsLLC.com is his website. I'll put a link in the description, but again, Drew's a fantastic dude. If you get a chance to train with him, I highly recommend it. So number 6 is the super test. Kent, this is kind of your baby. So I will kick this one over to you, bud.
Yeah. This is a variation on the Hackathorn Vickers test. Somebody else coined the term super test and named it. So I apologize for not remembering off the top of my head who that person is. But the super test is done at a distance of 5, 10, and 15 yards and requires 3 separate B8 targets, all at about eye level. What you would do is you would start at the 5-yard line, and your par time is 5 seconds, and you are to deliver 10 rounds to the B8 within 5 seconds. Then you go back to the 10 yards, which is the standard, quote unquote, the test. 10 yards, 10 rounds, 10 seconds. You deliver 10 rounds in 10 yards, 10 seconds. Then you go back to 15, and you do 10 rounds, 15 yards, and 15 seconds. So the total time is 30 seconds, and the total round count is 30 rounds. And you're scoring the B8s up to a possible score of 300. 275 is passing. So you're looking for X's or 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, God forbid. And you're just scoring down from there. So a perfect B8, all 10s would be 100. You're just subtracting from there and getting you'll have a 85 on the one B8. You'll have let's say a 99 3X on the other one, and you'll have a 97 on the other one. You'll round all that up, and you'll get your score, and that would be a pass. Because you'd be down like 6 points from total, and you'd be all set. Lot to unpack here. So first of all, the original test was done from the draw, or was not done from the draw. It was done from low ready. We're adding the draw in here because if you dudes can get your guns out and shoot 6 rounds in 2 seconds, you can shoot the other 4 in the next 8 seconds, right? Like, shouldn't be that hard. It's only 50 splits. So looking at that, we're absolutely going to have a big amount of recoil control to do here. It's basically just like shooting a bill drill, except a more extended bill drill. And the thing I will say is different is that there's an awful lot of grip mechanics going on between that 6th round and that 10th round. Those next 4 rounds are usually where guys start to get some grip, gremlins show up, and they're starting to do some wonky shit with their grip. And, you'll have a killer one, and you walk up to score the B8, and you're like, you fired 10, right? Oh man. Okay. We got one the whole way out here in, Flinchville, USA. So, that can be a tough drill. And there's distance involved. And the other thing that, guys get this internal clock and they're back on the 15. And I've never seen a person, I've never seen a competent shooter take more than 15 seconds. If anything, what I usually see at the 15 is some dude, wham, 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 5.5 seconds at 15 yards. And it's like, you had 10 whole more seconds to get that done in, and you've got 3 off the B8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere between burn it down, laser speed, super fast ninja guy, and, boom, check the wind. Boom, check the wind again. Like somewhere in that, there's a reality. So,
I think what I like about the super test the most is that to me, it seems like, especially for beginners, it seems like a perfect balance between that speed and accuracy that we're talking about. You
Yeah.
you get up close, you can go a little bit faster. You got 5 seconds to get 10 rounds off. You're looking at least a half a second split between each round. And with this, you're also not required to draw from the holster.
No,
So,
this is one of those ones that you can do at an indoor range from the table if you have to.
yep, absolutely.
Although it's
Absolutely.
kind of like golf, you gotta if you do that, if you shoot from the ladies' tees, you have to play with your you know what hanging out of your shorts for the rest of the day. So.
Your wallet. I'm trying to keep it family friendly, man. All right.
Okay.
So next drill is the fade back. So
Yes.
with this one, yeah, this one's another fun one. This one can also be done at an indoor range that doesn't allow drawing from the holster. It doesn't have to be drawn. There's no draw required. As a matter of fact, there's not even a timer required for this one. So we're looking at least based on mine and Kent's conversation, we recommended 3x5 cards with a small dot either drawn or pasted into the middle of it. And at each distance, you're going to be firing 3 rounds. And we're looking at distances of 3, 5, 7, 10, and 15. Now, Kent, I'm going to let you kind of go on into the philosophy of this one. Velocity. Listen to me. Philosophy of it. I'd like you to talk smart about this drill.
We'll talk about the velocity raptor of the situation. So the fade back is one of these deals where nobody wants to do it, but everybody needs to do it. The targetry is really unimportant other than we need a small point of aim and we need a vertical deviation for you to see where your rounds are going at various distances. This is great for a dot, but it also works really good with irons. We're going to put you on a target, and we're going to start you at 3 yards, and you're going to shoot wham, wham, wham. And if your gun's zeroed correctly, you're going to see impacts below the little 3-inch circle you're actually shooting at. Then we're going to back you off to 5, and you're going to see that the rounds are going to start to climb up. If you're 0 to 10 yards on your dot, by the time you get back to the 10-yard line, you'll be right in the dead center of the freaking circle. And as you go back past 10, you'll actually get up a little higher. So if you're doing this totally correctly, and you have a TJ, you got a little echo. I'm hearing myself talk. I don't know from where. But if you're doing this correctly, what you'll want to be seeing is a vertical line. You literally want to see, we're going to start here, and we're going to start lower, and we're going to climb higher. So that's a pretty important part of the show. We want to see no horizontal deviation. We only want to see vertical deviation. And the whole point of this is for you to see where your gun hits, point of aim, point of impact, and bonus points for doing it with your actual carry ammo. Right? So that's my deal on that.
Yeah, this is another important part or another important aspect of performing these drills. It's one, not just to be able to gauge yourself and your own performance, but able to gauge your equipment and to become familiar with your equipment. We throw, this is my everyday carry right here. Red dot, compensator, light, cool sights, cool grip, all that stuff. If you don't know your equipment and what it's capable of and where it's hitting at various distances and in various conditions, you're really doing yourself a disservice. So it's like trying to drive. Yeah. It's like typical American type stuff where we get all these big off-road vehicles and we're stuck in traffic because we don't truly understand the capability of our equipment.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of people that show up, and this is especially true with the red dot shooter, or like rifles. Guys are big on rifles. It's like, okay, what's your 0? Oh, I shoot to 5,200. Or, okay, what's your 0 on your dot? Oh, I shoot 25. Or, oh, I shoot 10. All right, dude. Here's a freaking 1-inch or 2-inch paster. Show me where you're at. And their stuff's not zeroed. So we're running around the range, doing cool guy ninja flips and Taron Butler press checks and this and that and everything else. And dudes don't even know where their ammo hits at what given distance. Matter of fact, if we were ordering these in order of priority, this one should be first.
Right.
Like,
no, I can concur with that. I mean, well, it's just like even with the Modern Samurai Project stuff. One of the first things that they do, and actually this isn't just specific to Scott, but one of the first things most qualified instructors do is, especially on a first time out with a new student, is verify that they're zeroed.
Yep.
How can you reasonably expect somebody to hit what they're aiming at if their sights are all all wacky? So, but continuing on with that train of thought, though, as far as knowing your equipment and being familiar with your equipment, that actually leads us nicely into the number 8 drill, which is small dot torture. Now, there are a few modifications to dot torture. One of the more popular ones, the dots are 2 to 3 inches in diameter, and there are various steps and processes for each dot. Now, the one that I personally like is available on T-Rex Arms' website as a free download. Again, all you need is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, home printer, print that puppy out, and you are off to the races. But essentially, it's a bunch of 1-inch dots, and the idea is 1 round per dot, no time hack, no drawing from the holster, but take your time, place 1 round onto each dot. If I remember correctly, there's about 30 of them on that piece of paper. So again, it's about getting to know your equipment and taking that time to get familiar with how your gun performs. And it also gives you a good opportunity to diagnose your flinch, your trigger squeeze, and your overall grip. So slow, methodical, and well placed. This one focuses a lot on accuracy, but can also focus on the mechanics of the shooter.
Oh, yeah.
So pretty simple. And again, I'll post links for the T-Rex Arms website down in the description here. Also, side note, if you happen to be listening to this on one of your favorite podcast players, you're catching us after the show or after the live airing of this broadcast, I copy everything from the YouTube description over into the podcast. So if you go to the details for that respective episode on your favorite podcast player, you will see all these links as well. If you don't, Google is your friend. Just saying.
Yes.
So drill number 9 is the stovepipe. So this is actually malfunction clearance.
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah. So from a high ready, so gun is pressed out. We're going to manually induce a stovepipe. So with a spent piece of brass or a dummy round, Kent will demonstrate, and I'll shut up so he can get on the big screen.
Actually, yeah, screw it. I'll do it with live ammo. Stovepipe, yeah?
That's a stovepipe.
That's a stovepipe. So, what we need, live ammo going away now, so I'm not going to reinsert a live mag, is we need to tap, rack, and assess, get 1 round off. And what did we say, 3 seconds?
3 seconds, yes.
Yeah.
Engaging center mass of the target, so call it the COM alpha. But yeah, so on the beep, clear the malfunction, get a new mag in that gun, and engage the target. Again, if you're unfamiliar with how to do this, we highly recommend you do a little bit of homework. By all means, feel free to reach out to Kent on greenmountaindefense.com or on Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. He will be happy to walk you through this one. We're having a special guest interrupt this broadcast.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. What's up, baby? What's up, baby boy? Hi. 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 This is James.
That is a very, very sleepy James.
James, say hi to the internet. Internet, say hi to James. For those of you on podcast, this is my baby. I don't know why my wife brought him down here, but hi.
I have never secretly wanted to see a baby flip off a camera more in my life than I have right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so clearing malfunctions is important. Reach out to us or Kent or Seek professional education and instruction on how to clear a malfunction. There's several ways to do it. Find out which works best for you, and by all means, double check and get second, third, and even fourth opinions on the matter, because like I said, there's a bunch of different ways to do this. All right, and then lastly, for drill number 10, we're going to throw you guys a curveball, strong hand only and support hand only.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is going to require 2 3x5 cards from 7 yards. Place them on either left or right extreme of the target. The idea being is that on buzzer, you will draw your firearm and engage 2 rounds. Or no, we said 3 rounds. 3 rounds into each 3x5 card, starting with your strong hand and your strong hand only. Then after those first 3 rounds, transition to your support hand and engage the remaining 3x5 card in 8 seconds.
Yes.
So once again, 7 yards, 8 seconds, 2 3x5 cards on buzzer draw, starting with your strong hand, transitioning to your support hand.
One caveat. Do not use your support hand to clear your cover garment for the draw. You are drawing one-handed.
Yes, one-handed from the start. Only time the 2 hands will meet is when you pass your gun off to the other hand. It's that simple. So this very simple drill, very simplistic in design. However, this is one area that a lot of shooters, Kent and myself included, honestly don't train a whole hell of a lot on, and that's one-handed shooting, especially weak-handed shooting. So this is good. I don't know, man. Even 8 seconds is going to be tough for even me and you, man. I'm going to be honest with you. So this one's going to be hard.
You can do it.
Yeah, we all can. And everybody else watching, you can do this too. Point is, get out there and try. You're going to fail. It's okay. Learn from it and move on.
Yeah.
We got to get him a little headset, man. Put him on the show.
You want to say something? Say something. Can you wear? Yeah. You hear that?
Yeah, we got a little something.
Yeah. As you're transitioning support hands, make sure you're acquiring the web of your grip over top of the web of your grip, and you're not getting your support hand finger into the trigger guard.
Yes.
Let's not do that. So, as a matter of fact, baby, stay.
Dude, if he gets up off that desk and runs off, I'm going to laugh my ass
Good
off.
baby. What we're doing is this, right? What we're not doing is this. See that?
Yeah.
Don't do that. And reacquire, baby.
Make sure you're crossing the web of your hand over.
Yes.
When picking up the baby.
Yes.
But
I did not get my finger on the trigger guard of the baby. Yeah.
Outstanding. So, folks, that's the top 10. Those are our top 10 drills that we like to perform. So, like I said, we're going to post this spreadsheet up on Kent's website at greenmountaindefense.com for you guys to download. We're going to try to configure it so it'll have a little bit of a log book on it as well. You can track your progress and your overall performance. And the fun part of this is Kent and I are both going to be recording ourselves performing these drills, and we will post them on our respective YouTube channels, Lead Sling and Ginger, and of course Green Mountain Defense on YouTube and Instagram. This is going to be fun. Hey, win, lose, or draw, pass or fail, you guys will see the real deal. So we're not going to hide anything. We have nothing to gain from it. Even if we did, it would be intellectually dishonest to not show where we screw up.
Cold takes. I might even show the blooper reel. I might even give you the first cold take, like regardless, and then show the blooper reel of me trying to make it better, which would be even more hilarious.
Oh yeah, there's definitely something to be said about your blooper reels.
Mm-hmm. They usually have little to do with shooting and a lot to do with me not paying attention or starting to sing or something like that. Hello, mother of my child.
I really just needed this.
Would you like to take him back?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Sophie Hauer, Mrs. Green Mountain Defense.
Yay! I just did a handgun transition drill with a baby in the crook of my arm. It was awesome. It was fucking really cool. Love you. Thank you.
Love you.
She's gonna go in the room and panic and be like, "That motherfucker did not."
You know what's great about Sophie is it's kind of like Cinderella. Like all the animals and children follow her. So since she came down to the basement, there's like 3 dogs and a baby that has just kind of matriculated their way down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's right now I'm looking over at her arguing with Sweetie to go back up the stairs. It's adorable. So sorry for the distraction, folks, but that's my kid and I love him. So,
No, you never have to apologize for James making an appearance on the show, man.
He's my baby. So yeah, he's already a better shooter than some of the people that I've seen on the internet. So there's that.
This is true.
Oh, guns going hot. Yeah, but you know what, guys? Honestly, get out, try this stuff. Nobody's Superman. Don't try to be. Don't do something you're uncomfortable with. If you get out and you decide to do this and you're like, I don't know, pump the brakes or do it in dry fire. Before you put live pew in the gun, if you don't feel good about what we're asking you to do, put some dry fire reps downrange and see if you can do it like that. But it should work out pretty well for you guys. And,
yeah, absolutely. I am still here.
Okay, you scared me. So with all that being said, this coming weekend on the 2nd of November is a Saturday. Please come to Washington, D.C. and come to the Capitol so you can be a part of the rally for the Second Amendment. I will be there. Hold My Guns will be there. John Patton will be there. Josh Prince will be there. All sorts of cool, gunny people will be there. Tim from Matt from Military Arms. A bunch of people are going to be speaking. I am not speaking because nobody gives a shit what I have to say, but I will be there and support. And I would encourage y'all to do the same. So come out and talk to us. I'm going to have GoPros and cameras rolling, and I'm looking forward to a meaningful discussion if anyone would like to have one. Meaningful discussion, not argument and not fight. We're not looking for trouble. I'm coming to talk. If somebody wants to talk, I'll talk. If people want to wear masks and spray me with pepper spray, then you're going to get a different version of me that you may not like. So let's not go down that road. We don't need any nonsense or violence. If you're on our team, if you're part of our community, represent us well, please. Represent us well. God forbid you put on some deodorant, take a bath before you show up. Maybe get a t-shirt that covers most of your belly, and get socks and galoshes that at least match. And if you're going to wear the little hat with the helicopter on it, make sure it has all 4 spokes. That's
there's people out there that show up to rallies like that.
I know.
And before they leave the house, they take that "I woke up this fabulous" selfie and post it on their social media.
I know. And I mean, for me to be giving fashion advice, the world is in a really terrible spot. But just come on, y'all.
So next week on the podcast, we'll be talking about the 10 drills for personal hygiene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But with that, so Kent, let's go ahead and throw this out there. So you guys, if you're new to the podcast, even if you're not new, Kent and I always come across these random statements and quips and just blurbs that we think belongs on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So with that, Kent and I are going to be going through the processes of working with a manufacturer through Amazon to start designing some shirts for you people to go out there and purchase and enjoy and represent your favorite dynamic duo, not Batman and Robin, but TJ and Kent, the mild-mannered podcast pew pew people. But we will be having that on there. And what we're going to do is after we post the standards for our top 10 drills, we're going to, if you guys have submissions, by all means, share your journal with us. By all means, we're going to expect you to record them as best you can to document your progress. And after a certain amount of time, we will take some of the best ones out there. We're going to have a drawing, and we're going to give away one of the first T-shirts. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye on our social media for Instagram, Facebook, and so forth to see the previews of the shirts that you can go and order and get pricing and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a good time, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited about the T-shirts. That's going to be awesome. Just so you guys know, 100% of the T-shirt proceeds will be going directly to my psychiatry bill. So,
It's for a good cause.
I need help. No, we're looking forward to, without like begging for money, right? Like we're less inclined to beg y'all for money to help us continue this, and more inclined to give you products and services that are worth something, or at least we hope are worth something to you.
Yep.
So that we can continue this. Broadband isn't free. Frickin' space on a server ain't free. Our podcasting app, none of this stuff is free. This has been a labor of love directly out of our pockets so far. Although we are monetizing and incorporating and turning it into a real deal business venture. And we're not shy about saying in order to do that, we're going to need some capital outside of our current projects. So T-shirts is a way to help with that. But they're going to be unique. They're going to be funny. It's legitimately stuff that we all probably know by now, that if you've been listening or watching, is TJ and I are like, we're fucking best friends. We talk every single day. And if we could just record those conversations, I think we could sell that shit for $1 million, because there is some funny stuff that gets said.
I'm just gonna start up a 900 number service.
Really? Like, honest to God. We missed our calling. We should have been sit-down comedians. We're too out of shape to be stand-up comedians, but we could have been sit-down comedians.
I'm standing right now.
But
I can at least stand.
Right. I mean, there's some really funny and unique ideas, and what y'all may not know about TJ and his wife. These guys are awfully artsy and really talented when it comes to drawing and making things by hand, knives, shirts, ideas, screen printing, stuff like that. So folks have a lot to look forward to when it comes to like the quality of what's going to come out. We're not just going to go buy some Hanes t-shirts.
Nope.
And iron some shit on like we're at the beach.
Yeah, we're going to intentionally go through a manufacturer to have drop shipping service. It's going to get to you guys. It's going to qualify for Amazon Prime. It'll get to you guys in a matter of a day or two, depending. But it's going to get to you quick. It's going to be made out of quality stuff. It's going to have some awesome original designs and ideas. And damn it, we think you're going to like it. So, like Kent said, we're not ones to beg. We don't do the whole handouts thing. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love and the backing that we get from our listeners. But we don't just expect to have money thrown at us, right?
No.
So we're going to do this. We're going to launch the T-shirts to start with. As Kent said, that is going to help obviously fund the podcast and fund everything that we do here on the show. But at the same time, a lot of that money is going to help to make it better. It'll help us to purchase products, maybe even purchase more stuff for giveaways and stuff like that we can review together. One of the things and concepts that Kent and I have discussed in the past is turning this into an opportunity for both of us to review the same product and give you guys our honest opinion on it, be it positive and negative or both positive or whatever the case might be. Because what's better than one person giving you an unbiased opinion than two people giving you an unbiased opinion? So it's that simple, folks. But Kent, I think we're at that mark, man. You got anything to say in closing?
Yeah, no, just it's been really encouraging. Thank you all for your support as Soph and I have had our son, and thank everybody for their space and for that. It's been nice to have some like listeners and some followers and some people on the YouTubes and stuff hitting me up private message style and saying congrats and saying how much this means to us and stuff. And it just serves as a good reminder for what we're all talking about, because this is fun and everything, but we're literally talking about the ability to be there when our families need us the most. So, looking into my kids' eyes for the last 23 days in a row has been, I just can't think of a better motivator and a better catalyst to make me want to be a better person and to make me want to perform better. And that's on the range. That's in med stuff. That's health. That's business. That's everything. So if y'all are hearing the sound of my voice and, and wondering what your motivating factor is, I don't know, but find one, because we want you here, and we really appreciate all your love and all your support. And we look forward to you guys growing with us, because this thing ain't going anywhere.
Nope. Sure as hell ain't.
So
with that, Kent, as always, man, it's a pleasure to do this broadcast with you. Love you, buddy. Love James.
You too,
glad Sophie and baby are doing great. With that, folks, just a reminder, we do still have a discount code for the Wisconsin Trigger Company. That is going on for the rest of October. So we've only got a couple days left. Head on over there. The link for that is in the description already, along with the discount code itself. Get you 10% off at checkout through the Wisconsin Trigger Company. Kent and I both have their products, and they are some phenomenal triggers. So head on over and get that while you can. Also, if you're new to the show, consider subscribing. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing here. Thumbs down if you think we suck. Don't worry, we're big boys. We can handle it. With that, if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to comment below. You can engage us on our individual social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. Once again, Kent is Green Mountain Defense. I am the Lead Sling'N Ginger. You can also catch this podcast on any of your favorite podcast players, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're probably there. By all means, tell your friends, have them participate. We always enjoy having people show up for the live chat. It's always a great time here every week. But with that, folks, until we see each other again.
Wait.
Oh, what am I missing?
One more thing. You're missing something that you never do and you never give yourself credit for. So I'm going to thegunpoint.com/author/leadslingingginger. My man is putting out articles that are high quality and deserve some attention, and seriously, go read his stuff, because he's not just a pretty face and not just a good podcaster. He's starting a budding career as an author. So please go there and support my friend. That's all.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, by the way, I've been putting the link in the description since we started this thing, and I never think to mention it, but yes, thegunpoint.com. Thank you, Kent. But with that, folks, head on. Yeah, go check those out. With that, folks, that wraps it up, guys. So until we see each other again, happy Halloween. Take care of yourselves. God bless you all, and get out and shoot.
Later, guys.